Okay, so let's look at kind of programs that are available in terms of training opportunities. Okay, so we have the FM diploma you're all part of. We have some other local training opportunities which I'm going to share. But on the international level, we have the International Facility Management Association courses, like the Essentials of Facility Management. It's an elementary level course for supervisors and shop floor people to give you some strategies for operations maintenance, permit to work system, for example, work orders, and so on and so forth. This is like, a beginner's training. If you've done the FM diploma, you definitely have gone past this stage. Then you have the facility management professional. In the FM essentials, it's just a training, spans about 4 days. You get small certificates in 10 places for different topics, like modular certificates for each of them. But the FMP is a credential. There's a difference between a certificate training and a credential training. The difference is that a certificate is a paper document that certifies that you have learned something. But a credential comes with a designation. That means that you get a title or an acronym after your name. So if you become a facility management professional of IFMA, you can write your name and FMP, on the side of it, right? And in the FM diploma we are working on, we are almost there. We'll make some announcements soon. We should be able to have that as a credential where we can have your name and FMD as your designation. So when you earn a designation, it is for life. It's a credential. It is a lifetime acquisition. It does not require any maintenance. You don't have to redo it again. Just know that you have earned it to be there permanently. You don't renew it. Another credential is a Sustainable Facility Professional, SFP credential. These two are not certifications. They are credentials, right? They come with designations. I can write my name, Paul Erubami, and have FMP, SFP, CFN, MRICS, CIWFN. These are all designations. So all those acronyms and alphabets I put after my name are all designations. So what's the difference between the FMP and the SFP? The FMP covers 4 of the core competencies: operations and maintenance, project management, finance and business, leadership and strategy, while the SFP covers just 1, which is the sustainability credential, because sustainability infused with technology, energy efficiency, and all of the energy management core competence courses all come together as very specialized for those of us who are going to manage modern infrastructure, green buildings, high-rise towers, and the rest. We need to become SFPs on our own. So that's for sustainability. It's a specialization. But they are both at the same level because they are both credentials and they are both they both have designations. Now, but the certified facility manager is the most globally recognized certification in facility management. It sets the industry standard for ensuring the knowledge and competence of practicing facility managers. This is like the ultimate certification. In fact, it's the only globally recognized certification right now. There are so many other certification programs, but this is, top there. It is designed to assess competency in the field through work experience, right? Education, and you must pass a comprehensive exam. If you are aware of PMP or any other exam body that gives you a professional exam that you have to go and write in an exam center, that's how the CFM exam is. So you will learn, and the exam is mostly scenario-based, mostly practical, ask you questions about situations. You find yourself as a senior professional, director level, managerial level, government, senior government people. That's the kind of level that the CFM evaluates. And so there must be some kind of qualification. You must have worked for 3 to 5 years with a good background related to the built environment and things like that to even qualify to go and take the CFM exam. It's not all commerce affair. And then the BIFM is now the IWFM, Institute of Workplace and Facility Management. They have a series of content developed with some partners, skill sets for e-learning and other physical delivery. But it's mostly fashioned along the, what do you call, the National Vocational Qualification Framework of the UK. So you have NVQ 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where 7 is like doctoral, 6 is like master's, 4 and 5 are like first degree, 2 and 3 artisan level, and so on and so forth. That's how this is structured. So if you take a BIFM or a IWFM, as they're called now, training, you are mostly trying to fit into the British curriculum system. So that's why you see a lot of people going more with the International Facility Management Association structure. But now, something that you don't have here is the Pro FM. Pro FM, started out in Canada, and they've come up with quite a robust credential program called the Pro FM from Pro FM ID. It's just at the level in terms of industry appreciation and acceptance at the level of the IFMA FMP. It does not deal with the 4 competencies FMP deal with at that level of detail. It takes a generalist view of giving you a knowledge across all FM competencies, 15 competencies and 24 skills in the Pro FM. So that's it's a vast array, but then treated at a level that even entry-level people can come in and take it. So we have Pro FM, we have IWFM, we have IFMA having different training that you can advance into. So RICS, Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, one of the oldest institution of the built environment. The charter engineers, project managers, quantity surveyors, estate surveyors, and facility managers. And the effort by IFMA and RICS to work together so that there will be a comparison of the CFM with a qualification of the RICS happened a few years ago. So if you have your CFM and you want to become an MRICS, which is the charter status in RICS, you probably just have to do some interviews and a couple of projects to become MRICS. Okay, so you've trained, you have you are in the industry working. You cannot just bury your head in your space. You definitely have to become visible. You have to become ready to network with the industry. Why we encourage networking is because we are a small band of we're a small family, right, in the FM industry, because facility management is a new profession. Before now, the engineers doing maintenance, the design people, the other professionals in the built environment, they have large forum for us, but we don't have. Okay, so when we start, drawing people from all of these walks of life into facility management, it becomes relevant that you don't isolate yourself. Many companies today don't know how to train facility managers, don't know where facility managers belong. Yeah, other professionals know where they belong, but the FM don't know where he belongs. So it's important that you join. We have professional bodies in Nigeria, the National FM Association, which is the Association of Facilities Management Practitioners in Nigeria, AFMPN. Join that. If you go to facilities.com.ng, we'll put some more information on your group about the national body. You can go to ifmanigeria.org, IWFM, and search for the Nigeria chapter. There's also the Global Facility Management, Global Facility Management Institute in Abuja, and a few other. Now, even if you belong to NISV, that's the Estate Surveyors and Valuers, they have something, cooking within them for facility management. If you belong to the NIOB, the Institute of Builders, there is also something going in there. They have these associations for facilities. The architects are also creating one. The engineer NSC has created its own. So you find that they also want to, associate with facility management. So you don't pull yourself out. You try and belong to as much as possible, because that's what fits the kind of network that helps you grow. That's what gives you the opportunity to serve in such a way that you can be noticed. And then when you belong to them, you connect with them on LinkedIn and other places. It's easy for you to show your industry value. You put out comments, you do some research, and you put some opinion out there. People notice you. They notice that you are a valuable professional in this industry. And you will even be getting people contacting you directly. Oh, I have this opening, I have this vacancy, will you be interested? That's because you've made yourself visible in the industry. You've offered yourself to serve the industry. And then for local training, we have, not so many listed here, but if you go online, you find quite a handful. Even though the quality of local training is still not very good. Many of you who have done 1 or 2 days training here and there will attest to the quality. Many of these organizations probably just have not invested in a professional approach where you have real professionals who have practiced facility management, who have qualified, certified, and are now trying to give back to the industry through training. Not very many you will find around. Okay, so FM goes with a skill, and it's a skill, it's a profession. It's not something that we can just dabble into and say we don't need to learn. But there are certain inherent traits in us that we need to bring out and enrich to be successful in facility management. That's why we talk about the skills and competencies. There are 11 competencies, we'll look at them, but in terms of skills, because FM is more people-oriented, you need to be a particular type of person, not necessarily anybody. There are some people that just have this withdrawn, it's me alone, I know how to do my thing, nobody should disturb me, blah blah blah, right? There are so many people who have that mindset that on my own I can do better than if I'm with a team, right? Facility management is not for you, basically, right? So you need to be able to work with people, you need to be able to work in a team, you need to be able to add that delivery process, because there's nothing you deliver in FM does not require inputs from multiple persons or individuals to make it work. So you must have social skills. You must be able to build positive relationships across board. And this relationship, when we talk about relationship building, we talk about stakeholder management, we talk about leadership, we talk about customer service. They all have a lot of interconnecting. Bottom line is, you must like the people you serve. You must like the people you work for. You must be committed from your heart to what you do to make their lives better, right? And then you must also take responsibility for doing things, saying things, planning and acting in ways that makes you a likable person. So if you as an FM, somebody doesn't like you, you're not going to work on that person's not liking you so that they can start liking you. You're going to work on yourself not being likable. There are things about you that has made that person not to like you. And quite honestly, you want to be liked. That's the truth about facility management. Within the service level promises and other caveats we're going to look at throughout this course. The facility manager must be able to specify correctly what to procure, negotiate for items and receive them. You must be able to manage your time wisely. Time management is a key aspect of facility management because most of the time you don't know what to expect. There are certain things you anticipate is the next step, next action, this is the next on the schedule, and something throws itself in, right? If you don't know how to prioritize how to use your time, then you'll be darting in all directions and be getting all kinds of escalations and queries. We don't want that to happen. The FM must be a good project manager. You can see how project management as a skill shows up here. I hear people say things like, I'm a project manager, right? So, and I'm asking, in which domain? Project management in itself cannot be a profession. It's a skill that's applicable to most domains. An IT project manager is different from a finance or account project manager. It's different from a construction project manager, different from a facility management project manager, right? So in essence, project management is applicable across virtually everything. IT, software, just think about it. There are project management skills requirements in all of them. We are saying that in facility management, you must also have project management skills. All right. So what this means is that you must be able to develop a work breakdown structure which breaks down to help you analyze what needs to be done to achieve or arrive at a stated deliverable or a project execution, right? And then from that work breakdown structure, be able to plan resources, plan time and schedule, plan finance and cost, budget, plan individuals that are going to work in it, communicate with stakeholders, and lay them all out. So that's a very key skill that we need as FMs. And then be able to research. I said before, nothing you will come across as a problem or a challenge or an issue that has not been encountered before, right? There is a solution for virtually everything. If you think about it, research about it, you will find the answers. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. The FM must be a good researcher, which includes conducting surveys to know what your customers feel, talking with suppliers to do market surveys, so many things that makes a researcher, gathering information, because you're going to make a lot of decisions. And if you don't have the right data, you'll be making wrong decisions. The FM must be a good writer. Whether it's reports, whether it's proposals, whether it's presentations, whether it's sales pitches, whether it's interviews or appraisal interviews, just whatever it is. If there's a need to send content that's in your head to someone, whether it's an email or a physical document, you need to be able to compose and write as a facility manager. Take your reports, for example. When somebody is reading your reports, you are not there. Yes, you are telling the person who you are, what kind of person you are. So it's very important that you are able to write, work in a team, lead. We talked about leadership, innovation, decision-making, IT and technology, very key. Numerical know-how, emergency reflexes, go with the flow attitude. This is just a way to say facility managers are people. You are a people-centered person as a facility manager. If you look at all of this, I didn't put any of those. You must be very skilled in air conditioning, you must be very skilled in generator. I didn't put them there, right? Because it is these critical skills that makes for success. You are not a specialist in any of those technical fields. You are a managerial generalist. You are able to coordinate the right resources, which is the humans to come and deliver on the job. You're able to scope a problem, scope a solution, find the right specialist to come and do it, appraise that specialist after he has done it, and deliver results to the client in language the client understands. So you have a high-level view of all those specific trades. For example, you should be able to diagnose simple faults by yourself. For example, you should be able to write scope of work and know what components exist in each of those equipment you're managing, so that when you are writing the scope of work for a replacement or a repair, you're not going to put the wrong item or wrong word or wrong material in that list. That's the level at which you should be grounded in all the technical systems that you're going to be managing. But in terms of actually spanners and screwdrivers, it's not your job. There are specialists that work under it. This is where engineers come in, this is where artisans come in, technicians come in, security people come in, health and safety people come in. They all come in to provide various bits and pieces of service to ensure that you can give one holistic, one overall experience to your building users. That's your focus. Your focus is to get to understand your users, create service specifications that your user has set and signs up to, and then find the people who are experts in areas within that service specification and get them to work and appraise them. So these are the core competencies: communication, environmental stewardship and sustainability, project management, technology, finance and business, leadership and strategy, human factors, operations and maintenance, real estate and property management, quality, measure preparedness and business continuity. This we're going to take one after the other, starting with communication as soon as we come from the break. Let's take a 5-minute break, ladies and gentlemen. Please put it in the chat so that those who are probably not listening at this moment will not ask us what's happening. We didn't disappear, we're on the break. Thank you. All right, welcome back. So the first competence in facility management, communication. Why is communication so important? It is like the oil that welds or oils the machine of our entire operation, of everything that we do. If you are good with everything else and poor with communication, you are good with nothing. That's how serious communication is. The facility manager who is competent, or should be able to build the competency to be able to manage and oversee the development and use of the facility communications plan. What is a facilities communication plan? It's a framework for assembling all the stakeholders, the various information that the stakeholders will need about different aspects of your facility management, the information that they should give you, the medium for receiving this exchange of information, the frequency with which each information type will be exchanged is put into that framework. So it's a simple, you can make it a simple spreadsheet. And your meetings are scheduled. Who are going to attend each meeting? What's the objective of that meeting? And the various calls, the reports that needs to go out, Friday reports, a Monday follow-up on weekend activities, highlights to customers. You need to create some kind of plan that shows that you are now proactively engaging with your stakeholders. Every time somebody sends you a message requesting information, you have failed in deploying and implementing a communications plan. Because that information request should have been part of that information plan that the person has either received or is expecting. It is because he has not received or is expecting that makes him to come to you for information. It's actually worse when the person now comes to you for information, that's when you now start grappling to put together the information. That's when you now start looking for the data to put together that report. No. So being able to have the right plan, that's the foundation of communication. It means you now are fully aware of everybody around you. The other is to be able to prepare and deliver messages that achieve the intended results. Are you getting approved anytime you put a proposal forward? Do you do a presentation and people like, this person is very smart, he knows what he's doing, he can deliver on this project, let's approve it, let him go and execute? Do you say something and people are like, that doesn't make sense? You didn't think through it. Even if you talk through it and you use proper analysis, did you consider the state of mind and the situation of the people you are going to present to? What did you do? Because there are two sides to this particular competence. One is to be able to write, analyze, present in such a way that you make sense. The other is to be on your own, someone that people want to listen to because they like you. So one of these two cannot be missing, whether it's internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. You can get away with anything through negotiation if you know this, if you know how to put the right points together, prepare the right analysis, present it in sequential order that makes it logical, people can relate to it, and people like you as a person because you are committed to their success as an individual. Emergency preparedness and business continuity. The competent FM is able to plan and manage the organization's emergency preparedness program. The emergency preparedness is all about risk identification, risk planning, risk management. The whole idea of something going wrong and it's nobody's fault, and yet there's nobody you can ask, it's not right. The FM cannot always say it's an emergency. There was nothing we could have done about it. There are no emergencies in FM if you understand this competence. Your risk plan is a way of thinking out of the box to accumulate all the possible things that could go wrong, list them out and start asking, if this happens, when my operations is running normally, how would I handle? What would be my fallback plan? If this happened, if that happened. So if you ever put the risk item down, you rate it, you rank it, and you start creating plan for each line item. Environmental stewardship and sustainability. We manage the built environment. The built environment is almost 50% culpable in environmental degradation. So we must manage the built environment sustainably. That's the whole idea of sustainability. Because if we in facility management industry can manage sustainably, the earth will last longer, resources will stretch, and people of future generations will come and see some of the things we are benefiting from today. The organization's commitment to sustainability should be championed by facility managers. So we need to have initiatives, we need to have ideas, we need to have, starting with baseline data on how our organization is impacting the environment through water use, through energy use, through waste disposal, through toxic chemicals we are emitting, just being aware and documenting the data of volumes and mass of what we are giving out and what we are taking in. Energy consumption, using metrics. It will open our eyes to things that we can do differently, that we can change and adjust to reduce our environmental impact. Finance and business. The facility manager spends money. In fact, research has shown that after HRO, we represent the next highest level of overhead spending for all organizations. it's a big deal, for us as facility managers, that we are in the heart of money spending. You must understand how money works. You must understand how to demonstrate value from the money that you are spending. You must understand how to save costs and not provide your services without being able to tie every naira you spend with what we are getting out of it. You can't just be spending. The FM must be able to create budgets proactively and manage those budgets so they don't run off. The FM must be able to manage contracts, develop specifications for contracts, manage and implement contracts so that they will deliver results to the organization. Be able to report on every contract or every engagement with vendors to show that what you are paying, they're actually delivering results for it, and there's no loss and there's no risk and there are no fraud in the system. And then be competent in managing procurement. Like I said, procurement is not about procurement department doing procurement. Procurement is the FM's work. The procurement department are administrative team members who helps us to implement our procurement practices. So in essence, if I want something, nobody can describe it for me. So writing a specification is my business. At least I should know where it is found. I should know about what range, if I am aware of the markets, which I should be. I must know what precautions, what quality expectations to write down. Because if they go and get the wrong one, it's going to, make me unable to deliver on my deliverables as an FM. Those are the kind of things we are talking about here. We need to have the facility manager understand how to specify. Oh, let me go and get me LED bulb. What it takes to specify an LED bulb is several line items. How many watts? How many lumens? What shape? What color? What is the coupling type? You have to learn how to specify, so that when somebody takes and buys on your behalf, like what procurement could do, you have already done most of the procurement by specifying in details. Human factors. Facility managers are the health, safety, security managers in the environment. You are responsible for the well-being, safety, security, and overall productivity of everybody that uses your facility. So you must be able to develop and implement practices that support the performance and goals of the entire organization. If the organization is being productive, the FM has a major role to play. If the organization is failing, people are not producing results, the FM has a major role to play. Okay, so all of those people wanting to work or not wanting to work in some environment, you go to some companies and you're like, I don't like working here, not a good environment to work. It's FM. You can lose talents, you can lose very important people who can deliver results for the organization. And then the facility manager should be able to manage your own team. When we talk about people in the organization, we talk about those we serve. We talk about those who provide the service. Your team, your contractors are all part of this thing. Each person must have an idea of what they want to do. They must have an idea of how they are going about their job. They must have a career path established with you. You must have a training program in place. You must have all of that. We are one, we work together as a team so that they can all put in their best to deliver results to your clients or your organization. And when it comes to all of those needs of people in the organization, we are too cold, too hot, too much light in my eyes. I'm not feeling well. There's germs and pathogens in the environment. The FM needs to be very, very conscious. People can't get injured in your space and you say it's not my fault. It is their business. Even if people walk on stairwells and fall, the FM is culpable. So that's why you see FMs writing things like, please use the handrail, no phone call on the stairwell, and so on and so forth. You just keep doing that. Some companies don't even have sound installed, prompters that prompts you to be responsible in the use of the space. That's because we feel a duty of care to make sure everybody is well taken care of and there are no hazards in our spaces. Leadership and strategy. Your facility management department, that's facility organization, you must be able to inspire, influence, and lead them to deliver results. You must be able to research best practices and teach it to your team. You should also be able to advocate for facility management needs and priorities. If there are conflicts within your team, the competent facility manager must be able to manage and resolve those conflicts. You must be able to organize and staff your facility management departments. People didn't come to work, people just left, resigned abruptly, and so on and so forth. You need to start thinking about what you are, the kind of influence you are having. People should love to come to work because there is a brotherly bond at work. They feel safe at work. They feel they are part of something magical happening at work. And then be able to provide leadership to the entire organization. Practice a code of conduct that is above board in your organization. The facility management profession is already tagged as the Judas Iscariot in the organization, the thieves. You don't need to steal or take a bribe to already have the label. Think about it. In the whole of the organization, who deals with more vendors? The FM. Who handles more contracts? The FM. Then we small here, small there, small there. But the opportunities for sleaze is very, very broad. And if you're the kind of FM that cannot work with a strict code, you'll begin to flaunt all of this. This came in, that came in, I'm the boss, I have this, I have that. You'll be able to influence the organization positively. Suspicion will be all around you. You can't lead. So whenever you don't get approved sometimes, it's not because you may not be able to deliver it or it doesn't have value to the organization. They're probably just concerned that you're going to have a chip of it into your pockets. And then, of course, develop and manage overseas relationships, especially with the communities, with the immediate users of the facilities and those who visit the facilities. And then you must also have a compliance mindset as an FM, be able to comply with organizational social responsibility policies. Strategic planning is a core function of facility management. You can't just continue managing facilities the way you're doing. That's why the next course after this one is strategic facility planning. We want you to not only just see the broad picture of the FM industry and see what competencies you should be working towards and the areas you should be advancing yourself in. We also want you to be able to, how would I put it? Look at things from the big picture. Define why before you get to what and how. If you're buying diesel, there is why. If you're the paint cleaning company, security company, there is why. You have to define those why. That's strategic planning. So that when you are making changes or creating plans at the tactical and operational level, which is the what, tactical, how, operational, you have anchor in why. You know why you are doing it. You are guided. Strategic facility planning is a key function of facility managers. Operations and maintenance. This is where all the engineering comes in. If I'm managing a building, do I know what the building is made of? Can I describe the difference between a concrete, a sandcrete, a wooden, and so forth? Can I describe the difference between a generator of 1.5 MVA and the one of 350 kVA? Do I know the difference between split and central air conditioning? I must understand what facility I'm managing, the various assets, the various components. So you need to learn them. And then be able to develop the asset register, do condition assessments, just inspections and writing professional report to show the condition, and being able to take action in scoping work that brings your facility back to shape. So everything from how to acquire systems, how to install, how to operate them, how to maintain them, and how to dispose them at the end of the day are all parts of operations and maintenance. That's why I say all the engineering is inside this particular competence. So all of those things we hear as maintenance before, when they say, oh, the engineers are doing maintenance, it's just the maintenance part of the operations and maintenance competence. It's a very small part of what we do, but very, very important, because your buildings must be well maintained. And then the operations. You have security, you have parking, you have janitorial, you have all kinds of activities going on in your space. Being able to have a visibility of all these operations is key as a competence of facility management. I talked about project management before. Be able to define your purpose, be able to come up with your tasks and subtasks, be able to come up with specifications for contracting, and be able to administer those contracts and deliver on the projects with as little or no variation. Quality as a competence in facility management. The FM should be able to develop and manage the creation and application of standards for the facility management organization. Develop, review, and compare performance metrics for facility management services. Benchmarking, measuring observable behaviors, service response, resolution times, and so forth. Be able to establish key performance indicators. There's a difference between SLA and KPIs. I'll have more time to talk about them when we're doing the quality model. But the KPIs have a way of looking at all that we do in terms of how critical they are to the organization. If I'm cleaning, why am I cleaning? Is it just to make the place clean? Conducive environment, yes. Health, yes. How do I measure the impact of what cleaning is contributing? People who come to work, they all come. Absenteeism is less. Management is concerned about that. Two, people who come to work here, they don't fall ill. The rate of falling ill is down. There are certain things you can measure that are higher level than the things you actually do. But the things you do are contributing to those higher level measures. Those are KPIs. You must be able to measure your quality of service. If you go to one building, you observe how things are done, and you go to another building and you observe how things are done. Can you compare? Is there a way to compare service quality? That's why we talk about certain indices in FM, which we call the performance indices. One of it is the Customer Satisfaction Index, CSI. So you think you are doing very well? Hold on, let's ask your customers certain specific questions. Let them give us a feedback. That's when we know whether you are actually doing well or not. And the KPIs I mentioned before is one of them. There must be specific things you can measure to compare service to service. Whether it's a new building or old, it doesn't matter. That's why you see the star rating of hotels are not based on how fine the hotel is. It's really the service quality, the service you get from it can be ranked, can be compared. And then continuous improvements. You have not imbibed this core competency yet if you are still doing things the way you used to do it, the way they taught you in 2015. That's the way you are still doing it. You have not found another way to do it better, faster, cheaper, improve scope. No, you just maintain and stay there. That means you've not imbibed this quality competence at all. You must have a process mindset. If I have Mr. A who does this, if Mr. A is not there tomorrow and I send Mr. B to it, will Mr. B do it the same way Mr. A was doing it? If I don't have Mr. A's process documented, I cannot describe to Mr. B what Mr. A does. If Mr. B has a better way of doing it, innovative and creative, Mr. B needs to bring that up and we edit that process. But the process must always be documented so that there are no concerns, there are no problems. And then compliance. We are in the built environment. The built environment is a very, very regulated environment because livelihoods, productivity of businesses is tied to it. You cannot put flammable materials in the wrong places. You cannot dispose waste in the wrong places. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. Those are regulatory compliance that are built into the building codes. You must know what the codes are. Whether it's sewage, power, fuel, water, and so on and so forth. You must know how the government has set minimum standards that you must operate above. And then, of course, there are standards and codes from different sources. Professional bodies, they have their different codes and standards. There are international standards for how to do certain things, and there are corporate standards for how to do certain things. You must learn how to create standard above minimum standard, which we call regulatory compliance. Competence of real estate and property management. You must be able to develop and implement the real estate master plan. So when we talk about developing strategic planning, there are certain outputs from that process. We call them the strategic facility plan and the real estate master plan. We're going to cover them in greater detail when we get to that topic. But what it basically means is that you manage your facilities as assets that generate money, assets that must increase in value. You must know what kind of programs to put in place from time to time to maintain returns for the owners. That's the whole thing that who went to study estate management basically learns. Valuation, transactions, how to price different things, how to collect money and how to spend it. But they also concerned that the property must remain and must be secured, must be insured, must be kept safe, and so on and so forth. So you don't have a negative reputation that will cause a loss in transaction. The FM must be able to participate in that program. The final competence, technology. Be able to plan, direct, and manage facility management, business, and operational technologies. Innovative technology trends are changing by the day. When you are wowed by one technology today, Don't expect that in 2024, that technology will still be impressive. There will be newer things that have come in. The good thing about technology and innovation today is that as they are coming, they're making things smarter and better, more effective in delivering your results, but also cheaper in terms of efficiency. So as an FM, if you are still struggling with whether it's software you want to use, or you are still not even yet at Excel, at the level of Excel yet, let alone software, let's know where we are coming from. You have to be able to situate your own level of technology adoption with best practices in today's FM world, so you can know how to create a path of progression to technology adoption. Your career as an FM will basically take you in all kinds of directions. You know, it's a generalist profession, whether it's cleaning, whether it's equipment maintenance, whether it's security, whether it's sewage or fumigation. There's so much that, you know, that it entails. And if you are only a specialist in one aspect, you are not yet that facility manager yet. But if you become a generalist that has knowledge about what it takes to provide all of those services to meet the need of one customer, to provide that result to one customer, then of course you are there. So when you are going into a business, you can decide to go into a business starting with one service and grow into integrated services or bundle of services. But for the purpose of what we are learning, you should know a bit of everything. So you can take a decision. You can act on how to spend people's money to deliver results that give them the best value. What do you expect as an FM? Typically, everybody says we have 40 hours, 60 hours, 50 hours. I've seen some FM jobs that are 72 hours, almost the whole hours of the week. But the truth is, most FMs are not scheduling their work properly. They will come to work by 8 with everyone else. And then they will wait for everybody to finish and go and start doing the things that they need to do, that they cannot disrupt the core business. Because of course you can't disrupt the core business. You don't come to work with everyone else. You don't come to work like everyone else. You don't come to work as the next person in the other departments. You actually come to work for all of the other departments. And because you come to work for them, you cannot tell them, hey, stop, I want to service generator by 11 o'clock. You will either have to wait till 5 when they have closed to service generator. You can start knocking something to repair in the roof by 12 noon. You probably have to wait till Saturday to fix it, isn't it? A lot of what we do is to not disrupt the people we are serving. So why do you come to work as if you are just the next person? You waste the whole day and you spend extra hours, unnecessary hours. It would have been better for you to schedule your work in such a way that I'll come to work every Saturday, but I won't come to work every Wednesday. That's my day off, like every other person has a day off, for example. I will come to work by 12 o'clock instead of coming by 8 because I'm going to work from 12 to 8. And so on and so forth. You create this kind of plan so that you can be effective. If you don't know what you are doing and you don't know why you are doing it, you can even make a case for this kind of flexibility. And FM job opportunities, right now, I think facility management is if not the most understaffed profession, it's one of the top 2, if not the top. Reason is very clear. There are no first degrees that produce professional FMs straight from school. 95% of everybody working in FM today did not think of FM when they were entering the labor market. They found themselves there because of the need or exigencies that made it available. Half of those numbers were removed from core business because they were not good enough according to what they expect and pushed in there. And the other half were just too good with finding solutions. They, you know what, go and manage that area. They were so trusted. They say, if you are there, we won't be losing money. We are losing money right now. That's why they are there. But in all, it was circumstances that brought 95% into that space. Until 5-10 years ago, you still didn't have publications that said facility management manager wanted. You hear of, we're looking for officers for internal services, corporate service officers, maintenance officers, logistics officers. We had all kinds of names. But we are lucky now. We have facility management established. Most employers are now going to go out and say, I need a facility manager.
Your voice. I can.
Okay.
What's happening? I think I've lost Mr. Paul's.
Yeah, same here. We can't see him again. I think he has a network issue.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
We can see you as well.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Juliana, we can see you.
I'm not seeing a lot of people. I'm only seeing.
Okay. So, but we lost the people.
Yeah, I think it's the network issue from the screen.
Okay, I think he's having a network problem or something. I don't know if someone can reach out to him. Maybe let's know what's up. Can anyone reach out to him?
How do we do that? How do we reach out to him on the same platform?
No, it's not on the same platform now.
Now, do we reach out to him on Zoom? Or...
It can't be on Zoom. Okay, maybe I have to.
I know you can wait. Let me try and call him first.
That's what I'm saying. Either we minimize and chat him up.
Call him.
No, what's up? Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, sorry guys, I got an internet disruption. I don't know what happened. Just took me out of my router. Let me share my screen. You see my screen now?
Yes. You can see your screen.
Yes, you can.
So there are two sides of the FM career coin. You could be working for a service provider, an FM company, or you could be working for a demand organization, a client company. And there are different trajectories across these two sides of the coin. Some of us chose deliberately to work on both sides. At some point, take up jobs as I worked as an in-house FM demand organization. I was in charge of budgets. I was in charge of giving out contracts for anything showing value. At some point, I worked as an employee for an FM company, which gave me opportunity to experience other industries and other companies and deliver value at that level. And then later on, start a business where as a service provider, I am now also providing services for organizations. So that gives me a wider breadth, a wider coverage of the FM industry and the kind of positions and results you can get from working in those scenarios can be described. You can add more to what you have on the materials. If you work in an FM company, a huge variety. There's different type of clients, different type of assets. You have experience, a broad experience. You are not tied to one portfolio. You can make a wide range of contacts. You have people, you have a broader because of the people you are experienced with, and a greater depth of understanding of FM because of that range of experience. The advantage is that you might be spread over multiple clients and portfolios, even at the same time. So you have to put on different hats. You'll be tempted to use one solution for all clients, which will not be effective. Every client has to be studied and a solution for that client provided. Not always able to specialize or hone in on a preferred sector. You might be transferred from health sector to oil and gas to aviation, right? You probably think, oh, I want to specialize in aviation FM or health FM, and you may not get that chance if you work in an FM company. A lack of autonomy, of course, you work for a company, you are not the one making decisions about budgets and how to spend money, and then you might need approval from two sides, client approval and then your own management approval to act on things that sometimes become frustrating for you. And then working for a demand organization has the benefit of you managing your own company assets in most cases. You can focus on the sector. I work in the insurance industry as an FM for so many years and so on. I work in the oil and gas industry and so on and so forth. You have that ability to get involved with the portfolio, right? Because everything you are doing is FM for that particular industry. Disadvantages. Well, one other advantage that you might have noticed in the industry is that if you work for an in-house organization, you probably will earn more than the FM companies would pay for the same level of work, right? Because somehow you have a salary scale within the organization that they will fit you into, and if they pay well to others, they'll probably pay you well as well. So I'm fine constantly working on the same portfolio, same assets, restrictive and lacking in variety. Of course, the same company you're working for. Not so much career and little growth or limited growth opportunities. When you are in an FM, an insurance company, there's no chance that you can become a director or become a regional manager or become something so big because you are FM. I mean, this is not your, they cannot see you and your training and certification and progress as relevant to take you to become central to the core business. So you plateau at some point. Hard and soft services, differentiation. So think about the hard services, think about the kind of work you do for the building. Some of them are listed here: air conditioning, electrical, plumbing. We'll talk about them, in greater detail as we go on in the program. And then soft services, more about people, the occupants that you serve, what you provide for them as solutions from pest control, laundry, landscaping, cleaning, waste management, and so on and so on. Your FM department can either be functional. Okay, so there is the functional or matrix organization. There are two common types. This is not quite updated. When you have a hierarchical team where you have the head of air conditioning having AC technicians, head of electrical having electrical technicians. If this is how your team is structured, then you have created a functional team. Now, that has some advantages and also has some disadvantages. People can specialize and become very good in the skill that they have learned. But the main advantage is that and then when you're reporting to your just one boss. It's a straightforward relationship. But the main advantage is that when cited to the real customer's need, the customer that needs air conditioning today requires electrician's job, requires AC guy's job, requires a mason's job, right? And these three jobs is not in his head to think about how you guys are structured separately so that you not create different work orders for each of you. You expect one person to pick up that order and go and deliver on AC to cool that space, right? But if you're in a functional hierarchical organization, you may end up having silos built within yourself that will now create disruption for your customer service delivery smoothness, okay? But if you're in a matrix organization, you have a facility manager who is directly responsible to the clients and the users, right? You may have specialists who are heads of the various skills, but they provide services to the FM who provide services to the users. That way, you now have technicians who report to the head of AC and report to the FM at the same time, right? So while the user gets a unified, cohesive experience, your team is working well because there's only one interface for them to deal with. They don't know the difference between AC and electrical and plumbing and the rest. No, you have a coordinator in between who does all that, right? And they still get a sense of value by being trained and improved experts in those different fields. But again, one advantage they have is that they can see how that delivery process, how they work with each other, and they can easily cross-train and cross-learn from each other. Talk about technology, you can't put your head in the sand as an FM. You must always be aware of changing technologies. The facility management job is operated at 3 levels. And I was explaining this a while ago when I said, you must know the why so that you can decide the what and then craft the how. If how is what you know, you don't know the what, you'll be doing how very poorly. If what is what you know and you don't know the why, you'll be doing what very poorly. In essence, everything derives from strategy. Everything derives from what our core business is about. That's why providing services for a hospital is not the same as providing services for a bank. Providing services for one type of bank is different from providing service for another type of bank. I must understand the high level strategy of the organization and use that to craft my own strategies for FM delivery. A bank today is shifting its footprint, physical footprint, and going heavily online, closing down branches. What should I be doing as an FM? I should create strategies to ensure that customers can have seamless experience online. For example, power to the servers, cooling to the servers, so that the capacity can be met for multiple millions of users at the same time. I must focus there because that's the strategy. I can't go on investing resources in branches when branches are being closed down, for example. Now, in terms of how you get results or performance outputs from the various levels, what goes into the strategic level is small. That's why the triangle is sitting right. In terms of people and systems that go into the strategic level, one good head, they say, at the top can make everything right, isn't it? That's exactly what it is here. If you get down to the bottom, there are more people at the operational level, all the cleaners, all the supervisors, and people running around getting things done. If you don't get it right at the strategic level, whatever you are doing down the line will continue stack up of mistakes and errors and inefficiencies. You know, as an FM, where do you want to be? You want to stay at the operational level? I'm a screen supervisor, I'm a security supervisor, I'm a receptionist. Is that where you want to stay? Absolutely not. You want to be able to develop yourself so you can analyze and provide results at higher and higher level until you get to a strategic level where you can contribute to organizational development and growth. That's the whole idea. You cannot stay at that point where you're the one counting all the tissues and the soap bars and the rest of the brushes and the rest. No, you must always be growing from where you are. So, the FM career, what should you do next? Your CV, the resume. They say, we have a vacancy. Let me see your CV. And then you bring your CV. It is still the last one you did after NYSC 2015 or 2014. No work on it then. Let me give you a tip before we get to the main course that will deal with, workplace productivity. From now on, as you learn anything new in class, practice it. Document what the situation was before you practiced it, and capture data to document the results after you've practiced it. As you are doing that on a monthly basis, be revisiting your CV and be adding new accomplishments and skills. Because it's only what you have done that can be recounted as skill or accomplishment. If you've not practiced or done it, it cannot be a skill in your CV, right? So that's the beginning, right? Construct your CV, highlight your experiences that relate to all of these skills we talked about earlier, FM related skills, okay? And that's the beginning. And then from there, you start working, join the various platforms where you can meet more opportunities in facility management, and you can learn a lot from other colleagues in the industry. Okay, so that's our lesson. I hope you've been taking notes. I'm going to open the discussion up now. If I see your hand up, I would acknowledge you to speak, make a comment, ask a question. All right, Bumi, let's hear from you, please.
Thank you very much for the class. You said there are no emergencies in FM,
Yes.
but there are some projects that people talk about unintended consequences or unintended results or something. So how does one go about that? Is there anything like that in FM?
So
if you capture, because I realize that it's not also possible to capture all risk. You may be able to capture some, but some will just be left. I'll be wondering, oh, how come? So how does one handle that?
Very good, very good. Now, if you get in the habit of capturing risk, you will easily, you'll find that the unintended consequences become fewer and fewer. If you get in the habit of discussing, let's analyze, outline potential risk. Let's review what our historical antecedents have been. Let's look at lessons from other people who have been in this same space. What has been the situation with this kind of project? What has gone wrong in the past? What can still likely go wrong? If we spend enough time just cataloging these, the number, the frequency, the severity of risk items will drop every day significantly, right? Now, and if something does, rear its head suddenly from nowhere, it will be so rare that nobody can really blame you for something so rare happening. But if you look at all our experiences in the FM industry in Nigeria today, for the last 5-10 years, I mentioned one serious one that happened on one of my sites, right? About somebody having aluminum roof that touched a high tension cable, for example, right? these are things that have happened before, keeps happening, and we still have it happening to us. So in essence, planning reduces the likelihood of an unintended consequence or occurrence. So, Bumi, you are right, some will still happen, right? But if you have the mindset that there are no emergencies, you will plan in sufficient detail to anticipate them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Elena. You're still muted, on mute. Elena, you're muted. Okay.
Okay. I hear me now.
Yes, I hear you now.
Yes, I am not an FM for now. A facility manager for now, but I work with facility manager and all that. I've worked with different facility managers, about 3. So
Yes.
there are some things that I've been noticing that most times when they request for, when there are damages in the facility,
Yeah.
and then they are requesting for things to use and then prefer solution to that problem.
Yeah.
You find out that either the client or maybe the company, they don't provide such things as they require. So how will that particular FM be able to manage the situation?
Okay.
And then another one that I want to ask is, okay, you also having a cleaning manager, I manage people and all that. So you have staffs or workers who are not ready to do what you ask them to do. Keep complaining, sick, they're ill and all. So I want to know, how can one, how am I going to be able to manage such things? Because I see it reflecting in what you just taught us now.
Okay. I'll take the first one and I will ask you to rephrase the second one. The first one, they need resources and they're not getting approval, or they're not getting the solutions, the funding to buy and replace things that are not okay in the facility, isn't it? Exactly. Now,
yes.
It boils down to a few points. Number one, if you have a well-detailed budget, there's a high likelihood that all of those planned and unplanned expenses have been factored into the budget and received prior management approval a year ago. That's the first one, proactive budgeting. Budgeting that uses historical data and uses a proper due diligence to make estimates for things that can break during the year. That's the first thing. The second one is, if you anticipate things that will break and fail, what is the plan for mitigating them? Do we want them to fail and break and then expect money to fix them? Or is there a way we can have a plan in place to make sure they don't break so that they can last longer and bring value? When we can convince management, again, after we have done proper budgeting, that we are also having a proactive asset integrity program in place, which shows that we have a plan to ensure that things don't fail through the year, because things failing is a failure on our part, right? So we want those things to keep working. If we have shown management that we have that program in place, a preventive maintenance program, for example, that ensures that things run, for their useful life, there's a high likelihood that when they do break, management will approve for us to tap into the budget we had estimated that they had negotiated and agreed with us before. But if you have a situation where every time something breaks, you go to ask for money that was not planned for, no management wants to look at the FM and say, you didn't plan for it, you don't have a budget for it, come and take the money. Where would they get the money from? That's the main challenge with not getting approval. You understand? So budget and then plan programs and operations to ensure that things don't break as much as possible. Because when it breaks, you have failed. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, the other one, you said something about
Yeah.
workers not doing what they're asked to do or calling in sick and stuff.
And then, yeah, exactly.
You know, so we normally would say they need to be trained, right? But the bigger job really is that of, you know, tapping into their hearts and minds, getting into understanding how they think and creating a bond within the team. So you have to go through a few processes. One, train them on the job. Two, you know, show some care and as much as possible manage relationships within the team, and then ensure that there is some kind of process to how things are done. People who work under environments where they are step to step how to do things, they tend to enjoy their job better at that level than people who are told to just use their mind to do whatever they can. When they get stressed up, they just begin to break down and leave, right? So you may have to work on a few of those relationship side things, you know, get involved in each person with each person in such a way that you understand what really is their burden and their concern, because there is no one size fits all. So while you are working on the general level, training and building a good bond among the team, you're also looking at each person one by one to see what could be their concerns or issues. Because facility management is all about people, right? You are providing services using people. If these people will not deliver, you will be failing. So your job would be to ensure that the job is structured and you can get these people to have a vision of where you are going with the service. I don't get cleaners and tell them go and clean. I tell them we are here to provide ABC type of experience to the people that use this facility. And I ask them, what do they think about their job and how they are going to provide this experience? Because if I see something going wrong in one area and says, that's not my job, for example, it's not doing cleaning well. Those are the kind of things we do. We work on them as a team to form that team bond and work on them as individuals, one by one, to ensure that each person has a vision, the same vision that you, the boss, has about the service you are delivering in that environment.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a fantastic class. Thank you so much for your questions. See you on Monday.
Hello, sir.
I know it's public holiday. We don't do public holiday in this program because this is adult education, it's evening school. So when it's public holiday, we run our classes normally, please, okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.